Welcome everyone. Competency framework for people managers. So, what exactly are the competencies? What exactly is the requirement to be an effective people persons? This is what we will be discussing in this particular presentation. So, watch clearly and hone your skills as far as your competencies are concerned. If you want to be an emphatic managers in your work. So, as far as the Harvard HRM framework goes around it, see, basically what does it say is it is the shareholder interest that comes around it in terms of management, employees, government, unions, you name it, we have it. That is what we are looking out here. As far as situational factors, is your workforce, your characteristics, business strategy, condition management, whatever you call about it. It's a philosophy that you want to go around. You want to say anything and everything that is there. Please understand both of these things, the shareholder interest and the situational factors, eventually leads to your HR policies or the outcomes or the long term consequences thereby. So, we are talking about the HRM policies, the outcomes of HRM as far as the commitment, loyalty, congruence, cost, effectiveness, and so on and so forth comes in. And then there is the long term consequences as far as an individual well being, as far as the attrition rates are concerned, as far as the organizational effectiveness are concerned. So, what are with the HR policies? We are working with work systems, we are working with reward systems, we are working with HR inflows, employee influences, and thereby. Remember, I am speaking something which was propounded way back, approximately more than quarter a century. Absolutely more than quarter, or should I say, it's very closely near to 40 years of things. So on that same framework, every business works around it. Works on the shareholders' interest. It works on the environmental. It works on the situational factor that comes around it, and this is where we try to build upon a workplace cultures. Workplace cultures are all about the human beings and the employees that has been associated there. Remember, performance management is nothing but is an integrating force. You remember, this is what we are looking at. It is an integrating forces of everything out here as far as performance management is concerned. This is the unique features. We talk about performance management. It's all about rewards and commitment. If you give reward, you get to end commitment. If it is all about people are all motivated, there would be an improvement in performances. And if there is improvement in performances, there is an increased reward, enhanced commitment, enhanced motivation. What does it mean? The employee will automatically will lead to a development in terms of a career progression, in terms of succession planning, in terms of recognition, in terms of any kinds of attribution that is in positive fashion. So performance management essentially is everything that including of improvement in performances in the intrinsic quality of motivations and commitment and the extends quality of employee development and reward out there. So this is what the integrating forces of performance is all about it. So use of competencies as an integrating force. Now we will be talking about these competencies, the thing which can be extrinsically visualized or probably can be felt. This is the reward that we goes around it and the development that is there within the career span of an employee. And probably we can obviously ingrain it into the recruitment point altogether. Now remember, recruitment is a person where the person is still external to the organization. So use those competencies to attract viable talent and probably groom the talent in such a fashion that they becomes reinforcing forces towards the achievement of the organizational objective thereby. So let us understand competency based human resource management framework. Remember, we have been trying to tell it to you all about performance management with respect to training and development and recruitment. This is what is very important, right? This is very important because if people are suitably recruited, suitable people are recruited, if they have been closely monitors and given positive feedback as in constructive feedback is concerned, then there would be some sort of training and development that's going to happen, and overall enhancement in the performances. Remember, the other thing that is very much extrinsic but is equally very rewarding and very enriching is the reward management and the career management. If people know that the company is looking for a long term and are investing in them, this will automatically motivate them to contribute in a much better fashion as far as the profitability of company is concerned. So essentially, competency management framework is all about people strategy, which is all about recruitment, right performance management, and with the help of training and development to upgrade them. The extinct reward would be reward management and the career management that's going around it. This swings in between the business strategy that is there and the business result. Remember, if the business result is not positive, if the company is not posting profit every quarters and quarter after quarter is not quadrupling its profit, how will you expect the business to invest in such kind of process altogether? First and foremost thing is the survival of the business. So let us understand the business strategy, let us understand the business outcome, and thereby the competency based people strategy about it. We speak about these framework. Remember, we start from the first thing, and everything is interchangeable. This is what we need to go around it. Every point is interchangeable altogether. Everything, be the framework, be the preparation and selection, be the development and evaluation, be the compensation and protection, and the employee relations and assessment is the case might be. This is what we are looking into it. So let us understand in details what exactly is competencies. A competency is nothing. It's nothing but only your attitude, your skills, and your knowledge, which, when applied onto a job, will result in a job behaviors, will result in certain kind of performances that is adhering to the benchmark practice or not. Performances that can be measured. So what are we doing it? We are basically applying our own attitude, our own skills, our own knowledge within the job environment, so that the productivity can be measured and there is a visible outcome altogether. This visible outcome needs to be measured with the benchmark standard that is there. And I am talking about anything and everything, any industry and every industry, even for that matter, forget the product industry, even in service industry, these benchmarks are there for you to understand, evaluate how good you are performing within the job. Competency is the determining factor for successful performances. This is what I want to go around it. Remember, the focus of competency is mostly on the behavior, which is basically nothing but your application of KSA. That is knowledge, skills, and attitude. It's your behavior, the way you enact it, the way you exhibit it, the way you put forward your skills, your knowledge in a job environment, and that is what is competency. It is the individual ability to do the job properly. Competency is defined as a set of behavior. Again, I'm saying the word called behavior time and again. That provides a structural guide enabling the identification, evaluation, development of the behavior in employees. So, what is this? I will say the jargons for behaviors would be A, B, C. What is A? A is all about attitude. What is this? This is all about the arrangement of the parts of the body or a figure. Let's say how you carry yourself is what we are looking into it. A position that is assumed for a specific purpose. Let's say you are very angry. How do you go about defining your anger? Now, people might be shouting, being vociferous, and then there are people who are diminutive, very silent, and enact their anger accordingly. So, a ballet position, which is similar to the helpful position. So, basically, it tells me your attitude. If you are in a particular situation, how do you or how would you react? That is your attitude. Wherein the B part of my ABC jargons are behavior. Now, remember, based on your attitude is not anything but your thought processes. How do you visualize your internal orientation with the external factors altogether? Now, this external factors is your exhibitions of your attitude. Now, this attitude is nothing but B for behavior, the manner you conduct oneself. anything that an organization does involved in terms of action, any in terms of any stimulation that the organization receives, the person receives, what are the way to go around it, how does it react to your environment, how does it behave. This is what we need to understand. So A for attitude, B for behavior. The third jargon, the C, is what I will be preferring on, is your competency. Wherein you have a conclusion of your attitude and behavior that sets the behavior within a structured framework, a right way to behave, absolutely the perfect way to behave and give your reaction. That is what is identification, evaluation, and development of behaviors in an individual employee is all about it. This is what we are looking at the end of. So competency is nothing. It is basically KSA. We have been telling it to you. Remember, this is what leads to my application of those KSA, the knowledge, skills, and attitude, as in with my behavior in the observation within the organization. Now, remember, if my behavior, I have the requisite qualification, I have the requisite knowledge, but I have a very poor people skill. I behave aggressively with the people. What does it mean? The observer behavior, people will start avoiding me. What does it mean? It is going to affect my job performances, and that is what we need to go around it. On the other hand, I may not be well equipped as far as my knowledge, skills, and attitude goes, but I am willing to learn. I am putting my best foot forward. I am applying myself. I am picking up the tricks. What is going to happen slowly and steadily? My performance in the job would enhance by leaps and bounds, and that is what we are talking about. It. Remember, competencies are only these two: your behaviors and your applications of your knowledge, skills, and attitude, which is basically we are going to answer in terms of the job performances that is there. So competencies and job is what we are looking into it. Competency is focused on how we are going to accomplish those what thing. Job description tells me what to do. Competency model focuses on how to do. Traditional job description analysis on the elements of job. Remember the various parts of the activities and the tasks that is there, wherein it defines the sequence of the tasks necessary to perform on the job. On the other hand, competency is studies the people who does the job. It's not the job that we study in. Remember, job description is all about job. But in competency, it is all about the and incumbent, the person who is actually manning that particular position. The characteristics and the behavior of this particular person is of vital importance. So, type of competency, there are two. One is soft, the other one is hard. I would love to say soft and hard because that is much more relatable. Remember, wonderful managers would have a soft competencies, as in where the behavior matters a lot, the way he or she conduct himself or herself and gets the work done. I have already stated that it is always the manager has to work twice as hard as his team member to command the respect. So it's not about how he behaves, what he does. It is how he behaves that matters the most thing. Remember, he or she has to work twice as hard than is his or her team member, so as to command the respect. But despite that hard work that he or she puts in, the behavior should be impeccable. There should be a willingness of the team member to uh, probably subject to the wills and wishes of the manager in the problem. Remember, managers is all about problem solving. Managers is all about communication and transparency. Managers is all about behavior, and this is soft competency. Now, then, what is a hard competency? People might ask. It is, remember, the technical know-how without which you cannot function. For example, a heart surgeon would be making a bypass surgery, but this gentleman or this lady is very aggressive in the behavior. But despite that behavior, you cannot do without him or her. Why? Because the excellent report, the excellent hand that this person possesses, wherein almost 99.99% of the cases, the surgery, the bypass surgery becomes successful. So people will, despite the high fees that this person might be charging, the arrogant behavior that this person might be doing around it, but he will compensate it with the functional competencies, the technical abilities. Remember, every person should have that technical know-how, which becomes a core strength altogether. This, for example, is of market research, electrical engineering, financial analysis. I have given you an example in terms of a heart surgery. So competency, how do we identify them? First and foremost thing is about the organization. What is the organization objective? What is the organization strategy? What is the context around it? Based upon it, what kind of people would actually require to man that position, to man that objective, to achieve them. So this is where we need to understand as to gather the work rule, the data thereof, and conduct the benchmarks study. So based on this competency identification, we will decide upon a model, right? About what we need to go around it. And if this model needs to be validated, redefined, or refined, or implemented, if found successful, we should go ahead and execute it. That is what competency identification process is all about it. Yes. Example being, let us understand adaptability, maintain effectiveness when priorities changes. This is one of the major causes. The environment is becoming very dynamic and things are changing very fast than even you can imagine. A new task or approach or new task is encountered when dealing with individuals have different viewpoints, different approaches, effective performing in different environment, cultures, location, when working with different technologies and level of individual. So this is all about adaptability as far as example of competency. Let us understand the adaptability in terms of key behavior. First and foremost thing, we have introduced a new process, a new technology, a new cultures altogether. So what do we do as a person? First and foremost thing, can we seek understanding why we are looking for a change? So make effort to understand those changes, actively seek participations from your seniors. That is what we're going around it. Collect those information and attempt to understand or iron out the individual differences. What the reservation that a person might be having in his or her mind. Can you iron out those issues as to why this particular technology has been brought in or the process has been changed? And when you have solidified solid evidence of why this has required, you will always automatically embrace change, approach change as newness with positive orientation. This is what adaptability is all about it. Making accommodations in approach of attitude, changing your values, changing your ethos, changing your principle, changing yourself to keep yourself abreast with the changing environment requirement. This is what we are looking for adaptability. Let us understand or analyze the problem assessment. What do we do it? It is all about seeking relevant information, identifying what is my relationship and the key issues from the base of information, relating into the different sources, identify the cause and effect relationships that we are looking out here. So the key behavior, what do we look into it? We look into the issues, the problem that is being plaguing, and try to find out data, collect data, and from the data seek information. Seeking information is your second step, wherein you will understand what were the gaps, what is being facilitated. Is it faster cycle time? Is it reduced resources? Is it leading to an efficient management of both time and effort and resources that we are looking into it? Obtain information by clearly describing what you need to be known. Absolutely. Then see relationships. This is where you need to understand why organization information data to identify and explain the trends and problem their causes thereby. Performing data analysis, organizing and manipulating quantitative data to identify, explain trends, problem and thereof. So using a competency model, what do we benefit in? The manager's benefits are much more clear because this, it will absolve him or her from getting biased or getting personally vindicated. Why? Because the managers will be telling the performance criteria, what has been expected, to understand the accuracy and the ease of hiring, clearly stating the standards of excellence or establishing the centers for excellence altogether for an easier mode of communication. Being very objective at the very beginning helps the managers and the subordinates to work in tandem with one another, have a clear foundation for dialogues, have a clear communication goals, have participation in the process, have participation in the work environment, have participation in the career formation of an employee. And that is what I have been trying to telling you, where the manager benefits a lot because it absolves him from getting vindicated as in being why a particular changes has been incorporated. This is what the benefit of using a competency model. Now let us understand how does an employee benefit. First and foremost thing, he or she knows about the success criteria. So nobody can make him or her victim any longer. Everything will be crystal clear to him or her as what has been expected. So they just have to adhere to that change requirement. Support more specific and objective assessment. Now, this is where they can build upon their strength and specific targets of professional development. If required, certain come out training and development can be sought from the company itself, and the company would be happy to let it out, give the trainings to the employee, because at the long run it benefits the company in a positive fashion. So provide the tools, methods for enhancing the school skills. That is what I've been telling it to you with the training and development. So employee benefits, the organization benefit, the employee get a new skill, the employee get clarity in what is expected of their roles and what are the success criteria altogether, and accordingly he or she can roles. So, key characteristic of successful implementation is all about alignment. That is where we get the support right from the organization vision, strategy, and key capabilities. Then is all about integration or execution about it. Competency initiative that produces most significant changes. Apply systematically across the human resource development process. Last but not the least would be your distribution. This is what competition standards alone produce a little effect, but they must be actively and relentlessly communicated, installed with the users as on when on basis. Remember, the word is actively and relentlessly communicated. Keep on hammering the communication there. Self-directed application is one of the major issues why this competency system frequently fails, because they are too complex, because either they have been perceived as too complex or they have been thought unsustainable at certain point of sponsorship level or the program support. Remember, implementation that work focuses on the development of tools that can produce results with relatively little or ongoing support. Now, this can be done or removed with proper training that needs to be done around it. Then is acculturations is what we are looking into it. Now, acculturation is establishment of the new changes and being fitting with the organization cultures altogether, organization work practices altogether, and competency system that were they become a part of a culture and the mindset of the leader through repeated application, repeated hammering of the information, and probably refining it as on when on basis over a significant period of time so that it becomes a standard practice, a standard procedure organization. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.